How do I confront
Yeah.
my wife without alienating or offending her? I feel like I've tried to lead, but she refuses to follow. Ooh. I see some destructive
Classic.
behavior in her life, but when I talk to her about it, she says, quote, "That's just the way I am," or "You're not perfect either." I know that she is not letting me lead, but if I tried to address it with her, it would not go well. What do I do? Oh yeah, those are like buddy questions.
Yeah.
I hope those aren't the same couple. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, so let's just stop for a minute here.
'Kay.
Can we?
Yep.
Can we do that? Are we allowed to do that?
Yeah,
Can we
we're
just stop?
stopping?
No,
Yeah.
no, not stop recording. Let's
No,
just
just
stop
stop
the
for a
question.
minute. Okay.
Let's just go off script here a little bit. And let's just pause for this dear man who's asking this question
Yeah.
of his dear wife. And let's talk to the single people for a minute.
Okay.
You should listen to that question read again. Hit the little space bar back
Okay.
on your phone or
The 10
device,
second back.
the 10-second thing, and listen to that husband ask the question again. And then ask yourself, how could that husband avoided having to ask that question? Marry a different woman.
Ooh. That was for the single people. That was
for
not
the
in
single
response
people.
to that question.
Do not, yeah. So I'm not, yeah.
Yes.
That's different. So
Single people thinking ahead.
yes. So when you're single, men, you want to look for a woman who willingly, joyfully follows your lead, which
Yes.
means when you're dating or courting or dorting or however you're doing the mating dance,
Thanks.
you're exercising leadership in that relationship to
Yes.
test whether or not she is willing to follow.
Yes.
So if you let her take the lead, if you get the orders inverted from the beginning, it's not going to automatically
Right.
reorient to a proper ordering after you get married. It's going to stay on the tracks of the trajectory that you set when you were dating, dorting, courting, whatever you call it. So it's really important, men, to know how God's called you to lead and how he's called the wife to participate in the marriage so that you have a grid through which to look through when you are dating. So it's not just about the hair and the things.
Right.
It's about her character.
Yes.
It's about her heart. It's about her disposition. And so now if this couple got married before Christ,
Right.
they were using a different rubric, so I
Right.
get it. But my gosh, so many of the questions that we get, oftentimes I'm like, well, I'll ask husband, is any of her behavior different from who no, she's always been like that. Well, bro, you married her, dog.
Yeah.
So now you got to figure it out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Now you're asking her to be someone completely different than she's ever been.
Right.
When you said you were okay with it when you got married.
Right.
And now it's proven to be not very fun.
Right.
So,
and conversely, for all the young ladies that are single that are looking,
yeah.
like you're looking for a man who will lead, who is
Yeah.
actively, humbly seeking out mentors. He's learning how to
He's a
lead.
learner,
Maybe he's
he's
getting
growing,
reps.
he's-
You can't say,
Admits when he makes mistakes.
yes,
He's
you
humble,
can't
he's
say,
teachable.
oh, he'll lead when we get married.
No.
That is the biggest lie from the pit of hell.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
oh, he's going to lead. He will. I believe it.
Yeah.
It's going to come later
Yeah.
once the ring goes on my finger. Newsflash. Like, not
Yeah.
at all.
If-
Not going to happen. It's not
if
going to be a
m-
flip switch.
If marriage is flying, dating is the runway.
Okay.
And like off of a carrier.
Okay.
And if you crash the jet off the end of the carrier
Yeah.
and the carrier plows over the jet, that jet's never going to fly. So if you screw it up in the dating period,
Yeah.
it's not going to fly later.
Right.
Because the dating courting period is how you get up into the air.
Mm-hmm.
It sets the trajectory.
Yeah.
So if marriage is flying, dating is how you take off. And if you crash on the runway, it's not going to fly as it's supposed to, unless there's an intervention.
Right.
The gospel, Jesus,
New plane.
repentance, new plane.
Is that redemption? The new plane?
Yeah, that could work.
There you
okay,
go.
God gives you a new plane, throws you into the sky, sticks you in a plane.
I was trying to
and you're
stay
off.
with your
I don't know.
analogy.
This analogy is breaking down.
Yes.
The point being, neither of you should be shocked
Mm-hmm.
if they're acting in your marriage that's consistent with the trajectory they demonstrated when you were dating.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And if you're like, well, no, I didn't see this when we were dating. Well, if by that you mean when we went on really expensive dates, they acted really nice. Well, that wasn't a realistic environment to get to know who they
Yeah.
were. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
now that's the dating fail, right? Which
Right.
is why we say you want to get to know them through observation. That's later talks.
Right.
The point being is, single people, take note.
Yes.
Take note. People are on a trajectory, okay? And you want to look at the trajectory of the person you're marrying because you won't have near as much influence on that trajectory as you think.
Yes.
So if they're going this way, you think, oh yeah, but I'll marry him, and then we'll go this way.
Ooh.
Violence.
Yes.
If they're going this way,
Yes.
and you think I'll help them go this way, you're delusional. That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
What happens is they're going this way, and then you're going to covenant yourself to them, and then they'll take you with them that way.
Yeah.
If that way is not where you want to go, then my gosh,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Dating them.
Yes.
Close parenthetical rant
Yes.
on dating.
Back to the question.
Back to this guy who's stuck. I mean, married.
That was, well,
No.
he's feeling stuck.
He's feeling stuck.
Yes.
Yes. So obviously he's not heavy-handed. He's not abusive. No. And he needs to leave. So this is the frustration I have with men. That's the flip side of the same coin you were just talking about.
Okay.
Is men, you're called to lead your wife, which means disciple
Yes.
your wife, which means teach and instruct your wife, which means explain how what she's doing is not helpful, biblical, or what we're going to do as a family, and then teach and instruct the way she should go. And if you're not sure, start getting mentoring, connect
Right.
with a pastor. I mean, podcasts, sermons. I learned from my dad, and then I would go on. I would listen to sermons online, and I would take notes, and I would study, and because where are we going, and how am I going to get us there?
Right.
But husbands need to have the courage and the boldness, and let's just shoot it straight.
You already said it.
The balls
Oh, there it was.
to lead
Yes.
their wife.
Yes.
Stop being emotionally steered by because the curse of the woman is to be an emotional manipulator. The husband has to look through the tears. He has to look through the passive aggressiveness, and he has to say, "Hey, I love you. We're going to stop doing that now."
Yes.
And then when she throws a tantrum, like we're gonna stop doing that now. So I'm not
Yes.
saying treat her like a child, but teach, instruct, lead, guide, shepherd,
Yes.
disciple your wife. You're not a victim of your wife's emotional unhealth.
Yes.
You're not a victim of your wife's emotional immaturity. It is so I'll talk with husbands that have married 25, 30 years. Like, well, my wife is just this way. No, she's emotionally immature. She is shallow and she is unhealthy because he has done nothing to disciple her.
Yeah.
He's actually allowed her to continue with her pettiness and her immaturity, which is a way of perpetuating it.
Yeah.
And so I look at some marriages and I'm like, why would you, as the head who's responsible for the health of the body, continue allowing the finger to put itself into the socket in the wall or to shove a hand to the meat grinder?
Yeah.
That's the head's responsibility.
Right.
If the hand goes in the meat grinder, it's because the head either told it to or allowed it to.
Right.
So like grow up, grow a pair and say, hey, babe, not being heavy-handed here, but as God is my witness, and bring other men into the picture if you need accountability in terms of like, I don't want to act alone here, but
Right.
I want to make sure I'm not being harsh.
Right. Don't bring him to the meeting, but like talk to him.
Well, yeah. That might be awkward. Yeah.
It would be.
Don't bring me.
No.
Yeah, don't call me.
No.
But say, hey, I'm thinking about having this conversation with my wife. What do you think? And then get good counsel from other men.
Right.
And then start leading your wife. I don't understand a world where the husband allows unhealth to continue to the detriment of everyone, and then he complains about it like he's a victim.
Yeah.
Stop being a victim.
Right.
Start being a leader.
Yes.
Stop whining about the problem. Start working on the problem. Stop being kneecapped by a wife's unhealthy, dysfunctional relational habits.
Yeah.
And start confronting her in her sin. Well, like it starts today. Like,
Yeah.
honey, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And maybe she'll submit to your leadership. Maybe she won't. That's on her. But God's going to hold you accountable for leading.
Yes.
And it's affecting your kids, even if you don't see it, if you have kids. So it's like, bro, lead.
Yeah.
Like, lead. And you can even say, like, honey, I'm not quite sure of how to do this. I'm afraid I'm going to hurt your feelings. You're probably going to respond poorly because I haven't led well. But here's what I need to say. What you are doing is not working.
Yes.
And I haven't been leading well. So that's on me too. But
Yes.
we're going to change what we're doing.
Yes.
We're not going to respond this way anymore. We're not going to say these things anymore. We're not going to hang out with these people anymore.
Yes.
I mean, check
We're
your
not going
wife's
to do
friends.
these activities anymore.
No.
We're not going to talk to our children like this anymore. Yeah.
Check your wife's friends. I mean, since we're just being all sorts of controversial, like the husband should absolutely speak into who his wife hangs out with, and vice versa. I don't hang out with men you don't trust,
Right.
and you don't hang out with ladies I don't like.
Yeah. You don't go, babe, just get over it. It's not a big deal.
No. We're a we, and so we get to speak in to who we hang out with.
Right.
And so my guess is if this guy's wife doesn't respond well to his leadership, she's probably having coffee or little black dress dates with a bunch of
friends
who act the same way.
Yeah.
Right. And then they encourage that. And then, oh yeah, totally, sweetheart. Well, blah, blah, blah. Well, last time I just told him, blah, blah. And it's like, oh my gosh, toxic wenches.
Yes.
Get away.
Yeah.
You gotta you gotta get her away from those. And honey, I love you. I'm concerned about these friends. Well, they're my friends. Oh, really? I mean, like, so I'm not saying this woman's like that, but like we have dealt with families, couples who are like, you can't tell me who to hang out with. Totally can.
Yeah.
I totally can. My body is not my own, and neither is yours. It's like, okay, I'm going to go hang out with some strippers. Well, no, you can't do that. Well, you can't tell me. Yeah. Hello. Of course.
Yes.
We get to speak into who the other one hangs out with because that affects their life and their life affects our life. And so we've had that agreement from early on that I've had men that I enjoyed.
Yeah. Wanted to be buddies with.
Yeah. And you were like, I don't trust them or they make me nervous. And I'm like, well, but, and you're like, I don't, and we talk it through and okay, I back away. And 3 years later, they blow their life up and you were right. Or I enjoy them, but the wife is not enjoyable. And so there's just a measure of a level of friendship we'll never go to with them because they're not on the same page.
Right.
Same too with a woman. A husband should check in on her friends and get her around good women that can encourage in her what he wants to see grow in her.
Yeah.
Get her into a Flourish mentorship program. Get her in a good church. Get her in a good city group or community group or whatever works wherever you're at.
Yeah.
Get her on the phone with someone that you admire or she admires because, man, friends really can shape positively or negatively the life of a wife. These little mom groups that get together and just gripe about their men and talk about how hard their life is, dude.
No, not okay. No.
Dude. It's just like, she's just like IV, like just toxic IV right into the veins. That when she comes, she's going to bring that spirit to the table with her. You got to cut that off.
Yeah.
And you got to get her around godly women that will encourage tenderness, humility, godliness, so that when you bring leadership to the table, she's ready, willing, and able and anxious and excited to follow.
Totally. Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Hey, if you enjoyed that clip, you can click here to listen to the full podcast or click in the link below and go wherever you listen to podcasts. And we're here, we're there, we're everywhere. Hopefully you can find us. And if you'd like some more free resources, you can head to StrongerManNation.com.